we'll get right into the stories. The first story we want to get into is actually the limited voter registration. It's on the headlines on the front page of the Daily Graphic. Systems failure delays voter registration. Page 16 of the paper, it says here, the limited voter registration exercise took off after 12 noon yesterday following a system failure thwarted the start of the exercise across the country. Now, many of the registration centers, primarily limited to the district offices of the Electoral Commission, recorded minimal figures as many prospective registrants had left by the time the registration system was fixed. Now, before then, scenes of chaos and frustration had characterized the registration centers over the malfunctioning system, which prompted a high-level technical meeting of the EC to resolve the issue. Now, across the country, prospective registrants had been left frustrated for hours after they hung around in uncertainty for the start of the registration process. Now, the situation is said to have been caused by technical glitches led to prospective registrants leaving the various centers in Accra without going through the process. All right, and this is reported by Joshua Bediako Kumsin and Rhoda Amponsa. All right, so just your thoughts on this that's happening.
Kweku, right? You know, the Electoral Commission, as we all know, has the mandate of ensuring that we have a very free and fair elections. And when we talk of free and fair elections, it is not only limited to the day of voting, but all the processes leading up to the elections. And taking into account the fact that our elections can be very chaotic if things are not properly put, it is incumbent on the Electoral Commission to ensure that every single process leading up to the election, including registration, is done with utmost care in order to ensure that we do not encounter any such, challenges. Now, this is not the first time the Electoral Commission is doing registration, especially with these machines. We had one, I think, a few months ago last year. Challenges, were encountered such as these. And then, now, we are here. Yesterday, the challenges that were faced was not only limited to the issues of breakdown of machines. In Kasua, somebody registered in Kasua. Kasua is a Utu Senya areas. And you have the paper that was issued to the person, the registration form, after the printout, you have Iowa Sonos on it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. It is all over on social media. And when you look at some of these, challenges, it puts fear in me because it raises security concerns. And I am shocked that we are facing some of these things under somebody who was at IA as the head of EC, knowing very well that as part of the suffrage, one being captured appropriately and one being captured rightly is one of the key things that allows one to vote. Are we saying, or is the Electoral Commission saying that it is some deliberate attempt to deny people? Because, of course, we all know that the Electoral Commissioner is an agent of the current MPP government. Is it a case that all these
But you can't say that if the seat of the EC chair is supposed to be a non-partisan one, and
that is
being
so.
an umpire or a referee over...
That is what it ought to be. But by the conduct of Madam's EC chair, we've known over the years her conduct, words, and all that shows that she's in bed with MPP. And
I don't see which, and you
would notice that most of the areas that you had breakdown of these machines where voting was starting around 12, and even some areas they couldn't even start, were strongholds of the NDC.
Really?
Ketu South, Ketu North, where I come from, as far as 1 p.m., voting hadn't started.
Okay.
And many other strongholds of the NPP. And so for me, it is a clear attempt. The NPP knows they are going out of power. It is clear. And so there's a deliberate attempt. People are angry. Young persons are angry. People want to be counted for. They want to register and vote out this incompetent government out of power. And it's a deliberate attempt by the government to cut short these numbers in order to, have their way. But you know what? It will not happen because people are angry. People are suffering. Parents are suffering to pay school fees. And I mean, people cannot even provide a 3 square meals a day for their children and are angry. And so whatever the MPP does, whatever the EC does, the people will come out and vote. They will register and vote out this incompetent government come December 2020.
John, the EC says that there were technical challenges. It says that a number of technical challenges, including internet connectivity, right, was the reason. It wasn't any machination of government to disenfranchise your prospective voters. Yes. Some of the areas they mention are Sunyane, Bolga, Koforidua, according to the story from the Daily Graphic. Where are you getting this thing about, the stronghold of the NDC and so on? I don't understand.
I made mention of Ketu South. It is everybody knows that is one. I mean, the World Bank of the NDC. I made mention of Ketu North, very close to Ketu South. And you remember when I started, I indicated, yes, the EC is talking about breakdown of the machines. I indicated internet connectivity, somebody registered in Kaswa, and the person's card shows where Ayawaso North. Is that also internet connectivity issue? Okay. These are clear, elements of gerrymandering. And you see, the reason why we were saying earlier on that this idea of registering even at the EC district offices is a non-starter. These are some of the reasons. You know why? For instance, this young man who registered in Kasua, assuming it was around the cluster system, you know what would have happened? Even if it was at the wrong place, he would have been sent to the right place to go and register. Here, you register in Kasua, and then you have a card being issued to you. So what does he do now?
Let me read to you this bit here. So the Director of Elections of the National Democratic Congress in the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency, Amayao Amos Goka, said, some people arrived at the center around 3 a.m. to finish the process early and to go to work. But to their surprise, as of 10 a.m., not even a single card had been issued. Some have even left out of frustration, and we don't know if they are ever going to come back to register. Mr. Goka said he had even suggested to the EC to resort to offline registration, but the officials insisted on the online process. They can do the registration offline and later upload it into the system. This is a simple method, but I don't know why the EC is still bent on using the online process in spite of the challenges that they're facing. Mr. Goka is speaking. Now, earlier, I think a couple of days ago, the EC chair herself had come out to say that there wasn't any problem because in the worst case scenarios, you could do offline registration and capture the data on a pen drive and later upload it into the system, and then you reconcile the system. What do you think is dragging out this issue? Because at the point when they realize after 2-3 hours you're still having connectivity issues, they should have been able to resort to the manual process.
Kweku, exactly why I said there is a deliberate attempt by the EC. Now,
it appears so.
Now you would understand. You will
understand. No,
me.
I don't understand you yet. But
every reasonable man will understand, because as an EC, you have indicated that beyond the electronic means,
Yes.
you have a
Other
backup
options, yes.
plan. You have an option. What happened to this option if you do not have an ulterior motive? Why were they not resorting to that particular mode when later on you can upload it? And you know what is happening is that there's a deliberate attempt to frustrate people. Because you see, people are traveling from afar to come to the district offices to come and register. Somebody leaves work, for instance, you seek permission from the office and then come and sit at the EC district office for the whole period without being captured. Would you come back?
But if you look
You
at
are
the
also
areas,
traveling.
you're looking
People
at
are-
Sunyani, you're
people
looking
are
at
also
Koforidua.
traveling.
These are not NDC
It doesn't matter. There are still people that...
No, because I'm just saying that the way you're making it look
yes,
as though
yes.
only the
Kweku,
NDC strongholds had
you would
issues.
notice that the
right?
frustration in the country now is not only limited to people who are even NDC. In fact, NPP, there are members, card-bearing members of NPP, who are so desperate to vote out this government out of power. And for the NPP, the lesser the registrants, the better for them. Because the majority of the Ghanaians that will come out on December 7, 2024 to come and vote, majority of them are voting out the government, whether they bear NDC cards or they have done all this research and they know. That is why when you have a backup plan, and you have indicated you have a backup plan, because of course, having worked with these machines all this period, they know what to do in the event of such eventualities. And then now you have gotten there. Instead of moving on to that particular means of registering, you decide to delay. What would be the reasonable conclusion to such an issue? To frustrate the people. But whatever they do, like I indicated earlier, the ordinary citizen is peeved. The ordinary citizen is dying. The ordinary citizen is in excruciating pain, and no matter what they do, people will come out and vote against this government.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the various centers
Right.
that the issues came up from. Let me give you Koforidua, for example. It says that from Koforidua, Haruna Yusuf Wumpini reports that the start of the exercise in the New Joburg South municipality was hampered by internet connectivity challenges. As of 10 a.m., no single person had been registered out of a large number of prospective registrants who had lined up for the exercise. However, as of 12 noon, 20 prospective voters had been registered. Now, the municipal director of the EC, Kofi Asante Obusu, told the Daily Graphic that the issue had been communicated to headquarters. Now, in New Joburg South, there were 3 centers for the registration, and it goes ahead to give a little more detail there. But the problem seems to have been resolved also, because now the EC says that they are back online and everything is working smoothly. Are we not going to just give it a chance to see? Because after all, they are doing this for about 10 days or more. Why don't we give it a chance to see first, rather than decide on day one, when the first half of the day pose challenges, to conclude that something, you see, clandestine is going on?
Ordinarily, under normal circumstances, this is what is supposed to be. The only issue and the only difference here is that this is not the only option the EC had yesterday.
Fair enough.
They had other options and decided not to utilize those options. That is where the challenge comes in.
Okay.
If they didn't have that option, and possibly they are now going to put up a backup plan, such that today, should we face such challenges, we are going to fall on that one, is different. And Kweku, let me also quickly chip in this, that, you see, it is okay for the EC to, assure Ghanaians that going forward, these issues will be rectified. It also means that they have set some number of days, a period for this exercise to, and I think this is the very last they are going to do before, if you look at the EC's schedule towards the elections. So all that it means is that they need to add more hours or another day to cover up for the losses of yesterday, if indeed they mean well as far as this registration is concerned. I think that is all I have to add to this.
All right. So if indeed they mean well, and I'm sure that they do. So let's make progress. we want to look at a second story, and this one, I think the Chronicle has it. It says here, "Don't vote for Mahama. He will destroy my legacy." Don't vote for Mahama. Now, this is interesting. So, the story, I'll read the one from, because we also have it on citinewsroom.com, but let me read from the Chronicle newspaper. All right. Now, it says here, a story by Maxwell Ofori. It says, the president, Nana Addo, has urged Ghanaians to reject the perennial presidential candidate of the opposition National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama. According to the president, the NDC presidential candidate, if elected again, would destroy what his government had built since he, Mahama, did not appreciate his good works. Therefore, the two-term president, Nana Addo, cannot relinquish the reins to the man who was rejected after one term in office. President Addo said this on Tuesday, May 7th, at Dobro, near Nsawam, when he toured the Blue Skies Ghana. He toured Blue Skies Ghana, a fruit juice manufacturing company. Now, John, again, what do you make of this?
You know, I noticed that even when you read that story, it came with some laughter. It's laughable, isn't it?
Is it?
Very laughable that Nana, His Excellency Nana Addo, a man who decided to move this country backwards for more than 50 years, backwards, can publicly make such, declarations against a man whose public record as president, in terms of development, in terms of quality policies and what have you, he cannot match even up to 0.5% of it. I do not blame him. He says,
yes, go ahead.
He says he has some legacies. Of course, Nana Addo has legacies. And these legacies are not hidden. Public record, everybody knows. Unprecedented legacies of galamsey, unprecedented policies or legacies of nepotism, family and friends government, unprecedented legacies of a government that has sent pensioners to early grave through the DDEP. Unprecedented policies or legacies of a government that has turned down our educational system. Today, you don't even know whether SHS is going left or right. You cannot predict when your children are going to school, the standard, the living conditions of SHS children in schools. You cannot even tell. Parents are even afraid to send their children to school. Such a person comes onto a national platform to make such. I don't blame him. Under any normal system, Nana Addo by now should not even have the effrontery, the energy to even come and stand on any national platform to make such comments. And who is he leaving those legacies for? Of course, it is only Baumia, his mate. He's the only person that he can leave such legacies for. But you know what? John Dramani Mahama will come. And he is coming indeed to destroy the legacy of family and friends. Nepotism, arrogance of power. He is coming to wipe out the corruption that has sunk and eaten deep into the fabric of this country. Today, dollar has gone, Citi to dollar rate is about 14 point something percent. John Dramani Mahama will come indeed, and he will come and clean up that particular legacy and make sure that Ghana takes up that particular, image that is deserving of, of it. Yes.
All right. Well, let me just introduce quickly my other guest to you. She is here with us. I have with me Ellen Daaku. Welcome. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good, good, good. So it's interesting. I mean, the president says that he's encouraging the masses, the rank and file of the nation, to not vote for Mahama, and that he would Mahama will come and destroy every good thing that he, the president, has set in place. First of all, your thoughts on that, and then I'll ask my follow-up question.
Good morning to everybody, yourself, and all our viewers. It's been a while I've been here, and it's good to be back. President Akufo-Addo yesterday did mention in Nsawam that Ghanaians should not vote for same old John Mahama and his team. And the reasons he gave was because he would come and destroy all the legacies that he had built. And the president is absolutely right in saying that. Reasons being this: Mr. Mahama, even in his own party and his own government, has practically destroyed everything that His Excellency Jonathan Mills left for him.
Really?
Oh, he did. When he took over from His Excellency Mills, of course, by no fault of his, it was a force majeure. His Excellency passed and he took over. What were the economic indicators of this country? And where did he leave it when he was leaving? It's a matter of public record. And he took over when there was no world economic crisis. There was nothing. In fact, in our Greek, we were actually in the negatives. So even in his own political party, from his own benefactor, Professor Mills, he didn't do anything well with his legacies. Look at the NDC, everybody in the NDC, from himself as President Mahama, former president, to everybody. Whenever have they credited J.E.A. Mills for anything done in the NDC? But you were part of his team. You were his vice president. You took over from him. You have not even credited him with one of the things the man did. So if His Excellency President Akufo-Addo is saying that Ghanaians shouldn't vote for him because he has destroyed the legacies that were left for him by his own godfather and father, well, much less the legacies of Nana Addo. One of the things that is of a particular concern to Ghanaians, myself included, and a lot of other well-meaning Ghanaians, is what we are doing with free SHS.
Okay. Mr.
Mahama has repeatedly, records of him all over for the past 12 years, said that he thinks free SHS is a 419 idea, it's a bogus idea. He doesn't think it will work.
But he's never said that.
Oh, he has.
No, he hasn't.
He has.
On which, what did he say?
He has. I mean, when he actually...
What did he say?
When he actually sponsored the NDC to go on a walk, on whatever it was that they did in 2015, shouting and screaming with placards that free SHS was 419. He's somebody who has said that he does not think that free SHS was possible. And he has, even when free SHS was implemented, he actually stood on a political platform in 2020 and said if he had 3 billion Ghana cedis, he was not going to invest it in education. So if such a person comes down later this year and all of a sudden he's all over the place, oh, I'll better free SHS. I will do it better. You can do it better than the person who brought it in. These are some of the legacies that he's about to destroy. Come and tell us your agric policy, because this country basically depends on agric. He comes to tell us that he will give us in Kukobu hen coops, small ones, for us to rear chickens and hens. And when the chickens lay eggs, we'll sell the eggs. When we finish selling the eggs, we'll sell the chickens themselves. And then when we are done, we'll sell the hen coops. That is his agric policy. This is somebody who has been president before. He's gone, he's coming back. He has no policies. What are their policies on education? 24-hour economy. What are their policies on economy? What are their policies in health? What is he bringing new that would motivate Ghanaians or excite Ghanaians to vote for him. So if President Akufo-Addo is saying that do not vote for him because the man obviously has nothing to give.
Is that not what our problem actually is, in the sense that we're looking for new things that create sensations? It's about hype rather than about practicality and doing things, and then we are unable to fulfill the bulk of the promises we make, and therefore leave Ghanaians despondent and disappointed. Is that not the challenge?
The first question we should be asking the former president is, he has been there before. He has been president before. We gave him the destiny of this country for 4 solid years. Let's take away what he did with President Mills. That was the unexpired term of the president that he fulfilled. That was just 6 months. He even had the benefit of nature affording him the chance to practice for 6 months. And then he came on into his own. What did he do? He's been home for 8 years. And for the whole 8 years, he's coming back again. Why should I vote for him? What is he coming to do?
Okay.
Those are the questions we should be asking the NDC. And so if the president says that he hasn't said anything that will motivate anybody to do anything for him, why would you want to rock the boat?
All right.
The boat that we are moving, we want to rock it by bringing a former president who has sat home for 8 years, who has no idea of what he wants to do, to come and do what for 3 years.
Fair enough. The NDC will...
And remember, he also wants a honeymoon.
Don't forget, the NDC will respond after this short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. It's still the news review segment right here on Breakfast Daily. This segment is interactive. We want to hear from you. Send your WhatsApps through on 0204-447-033. Now, we were speaking earlier before we went on the break about the comment that the president made and said that Mahama will destroy my legacy. Don't vote for him. And Ellen Daaku, who's a member of the MPP communications team, made some comments there, and I'm sure Joan Selassie will be looking to respond to that. Joan.
You know, when my sister was talking, I was wondering. She made mention of free SHS and the fact that John Mahama has always been against the policy of free SHS. I want to put it to my sister this morning that it is inaccurate.
Okay.
The issue is that when it comes to free SHS, it is a constitutional mandate.
Okay.
And the Constitution has clearly set out how these things should be done. Free compulsory basic education. In the wisdom of the NDC and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we are not just interested in populist, policies and programs. What you want is quality. It is not enough to say that you are sending everybody to school, no matter how the conditions are. And so you would note that we started with the community day schools. If you are given free education, you should expect a larger number of people to be in school. If you don't have the basics, the infrastructure in place, you cannot roll out such, policies effectively. And that is how come the current MPP government is rolling up this free SHS policy so haphazardly. Let me take you to the NDC's manifesto in 2012. This is what page 6 of the NDC's manifesto 2012, sorry. Rapidly expand access to quality education at both the basic and secondary levels of education. Now, when you go to 2014, this was His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's statement on this when it was during the 2014 State of the Nation address. The Ministry of Education, following consultation with stakeholders, has prepared a report on the roadmap for a progressive introduction of free secondary education in Ghana as required under the 1992 Constitution. So you cannot sit on a TV this morning and throw dust into the eyes of the good people of Ghana to say that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has been against free SHS. The issue has been that the way the MPP is rolling out the free education, SHS, is not the best. We want quality, not just quantity. Today, some of us who stayed in classrooms for 3 years, studied 3 terms and all that, we couldn't even sit up as in the Ghanaian palace. Today, what do they do in the secondary schools? They prepare papers for them, they chew and pour and go. Basics. Go and engage these even 300. How do we call third year students of secondary school, and they are so empty because of the poor nature of the free SHS. No parent is proud. Even parents wish we go back to the old system for them to pay and have quality education rather than what we are in today. So for Ellen to sit here this morning and make these comments, it is unfortunate. Like I stated earlier, Nana Addo has built, when she was speaking, I was expecting her to tell us what her government has been able to do these 8 years, instead of going back to 2012, between 2008 and 2012 to say that John Mahama has not done anything, has not even, held up the legacies of his predecessor. It is inaccurate. Kweku, we all know that this government has failed. You cannot compare. John Dramani Mahama was between 2012 to 2016. What this government has done from 2017 to now, as we speak about 7 years, getting to 8 years, not even 1% can they equalize or equate to what John Dramani Mahama has done. And like I said earlier, yes, Nana Addo has some legacies. Galamsey, unprecedented high rise of living standards in this country. Dollar is at 4.5. Family and friends, 51. Family and friends, nepotism, arrogance of power. John Dramani Mahama will come. And these legacies and many others, which time will not allow me to make mention of. John Dramani Mahama will come, wipe them off, and set this country on its proper, level.
Interesting. So I found an article online from factcheckghana.com, and it says, who really started the free SHS? I wanted to read portions of it out to you, to hear your comments on that. Mahama or Akufo-Addo? Here are the facts. Okay. Now it says here, the debate about who initiated the free senior high school policy has resurged, with political figures of the two main parties claiming to be the initiator. Now, Mahama addressing a gathering in the Timpani district of the Upper East region, he said, this is what he says. He says, we started the program and the MPP came and continued it. Unfortunately, the implementation has been very poor, and so it has ended us in double track. Okay, and this is the reference he's making to it. He says, then Akufo-Addo came and said something. Akufo-Addo says, I heard something yesterday that surprised me. The former president stated that my promise to start free SHS policy was false and just a ploy to deceive Ghanaians. He was strongly against the policy and stated that if he had the money to implement that policy, he would use something else. And so he also said that it will take Ghanaians years to implement it, but now he's saying he started free SHS. That's surprising. So there's this whole political table tennis that you people are playing with.
Nobody is playing table tennis with anything.
Nobody's playing table tennis?
I believe it is quite of that. The end, Mr. Mahama is obviously peddling an untruth. I mean, I'm shocked that they even have the temerity to say that they started free SHS in Ghana. I mean, have we also, anyway, I'm not surprised. The man says we all have short memories. So obviously, he thinks that we have forgotten. When you run adverts in newspapers, on national TV, 48 adverts campaigning against free SHS, you come now the line, come and tell us you started. You started with what? Is it the progressively free that they said they were doing with their day students, that they couldn't even pay for it? That I had to take the now current Minister for Energy, when he was Minister of Education, to pay for? What did you say they promised in their manifesto of 2012? They had the whole of 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016 to implement it. You couldn't implement it. You left it. Somebody has started, Nana Addo started talking about free SHS in 2008.
Okay.
And you said this is in the constitution. And you have been in power all these years. Why didn't you implement it? And now that the policy has taken over, in fact, the NDC, they don't even know what to say about the free SHS. In one breath, it is a terrible policy. We have put too many children in school, so the children should stay home while some people's children go to school, others should stay home. That is them, and that they will come and do it better. We should have waited and put in the infrastructure. That is in one breath. In another breath, they started it and it's a good policy, and when they come, they'll do it better. Stand at one place.
You review it in 100
Review
days.
it, yes. And we are saying, and I'm one of those who is saying that his review, knowing him and his histories of reviews, including the nursing and teacher training allowances, the nurses training allowances, for us and for me, is equal to cancellation. Mr. Mahama has never, the NDC has never, for me, the NDC has never, in Ghana, liked the free SHS policy.
Ellen, is that fair though?
I should be fair to the NDC.
I'm just saying that.
Are they being fair to Ghanaians by telling us that he, Mr. Mahama, started free SHS? Is he not even ashamed to say that? And as I said, obviously, he says Ghanaians have a short memory, so he thinks we have forgotten. We remember from 2008, we know the person who have gone all over Ghana canvassing about free SHS. And when God gave him the opportunity, he has implemented it. I am not saying that free SHS does not have issues. Like every other policy that any government would implement, it will have issues. You sort out the issues. But Mr. Mahama should never say anywhere that he started free SHS. It was in the constitution when he was vice president. It was in the constitution when he became president. He couldn't do it. So he shouldn't even try. We haven't forgotten. Right. Free SHS is a legacy of Nana Addo. He will go down in the history books of the person who did it, as the person who started it, and as his vice president, in 2024, Dr. Alhaji Mahama Dubaumia, is going to continue with it. We are not going back.
All right.
Mr. Mahama is in the past.
Yes, you can.
Yes. I bite again?
No.
To tell us that they started free SHS, and you believe it. You're actually going to do a fact check about it.
A response to you.
Kweku.
Yes.
Ellen said what? In her estimation, review means cancellation.
Yes.
And
With
she's not the first person I am hearing this from. You see, anybody in the public space who makes this kind of statement is not fit to be in the public space.
Really?
Do you know why?
That's an extreme.
You would know that in public policy process, review is one of the cardinal, elements of the public policy making process. And anybody who makes policies and do not make provision for review, you are not fit to be in the public space. Because she indicated that she would agree that the free SHS policy has challenges. And then she made some statement that it needs to be, she didn't use review because of what she herself, thinks of review as being, public policy making process. When you have a policy and the policy has challenges, you don't even need to wait for anybody to tell you that. You need to review the policy. Now, back to the constitutional provision. 2015, she's saying that we started the day student, we couldn't take care of it and what have you. In the minds of the framers of the Constitution, that particular provision on the progressively free, there's a spirit behind every single provision of the Constitution. Why didn't the framers of the Constitution make it straight away, but said progressive? Because they know that we are not there yet. You need to take it step. That is why we rolled it up by starting with day students and then boarders, and then from there you progress. Then later in the administration of John Mahama, you look at the challenges in terms of the numbers and accommodation and say, no, you need to put up physical infrastructure to be able to absorb as you expand. You didn't think of any of these things. And then when we talk about review, you still have the temerity to say that review means cancellation. And you're not fit to be in the public space.
The person who's not fit to be in the public space is a former president who had the opportunity to implement
And
what
he
has
didn't do-
been
and
And
he
he
in
didn't
did
the
do it.
so
Constitution.
according to
And
the
he didn't
dictates
do
of the
it.
Constitution.
He is not fit to
The
be
Constitution,
in
the
the public
Constitution
space.
says
And then he has the
progressively.
nerve to come back 8 years
The
down the line, come
Constitution
and tell us
says-
that he started
the
it.
Constitution
That
says
is the person who is not
progressively.
fit to be. It's
Progressively
not a matter
to
of
avoid-
saying what is in the Constitution.
let's-
That
You
is
have
the- that is the
implemented it.
starting point.
In
Okay.
your 8 years, what did you do? Nothing.
Okay.
On education. In fact, the schools, the e-blocks that you even started, you couldn't even finish it. We have come to finish more e-blocks than what you started. So the person who is not even fit to even come back.
Finishing as
They
ideal as
started
it
it.
might be, it's not necessarily
So
governance is a
if you
continuum,
say
right?
no,
So
if
the
you
way
say that
it,
it was
he
in the
didn't finish
Constitution
it, so you
and that
need
you
to judge him.
start, of course, why wouldn't we judge him? You started a process. You started a project called e-blocks. You situated them some in the bush where the children couldn't even access it. And finishing it, you just finished about 20-something of it. The government that continued decided to continue. When you took over power from President Kufuor with Atamils, some of the projects that President Kufuor started, you didn't even finish. We had come to finish it in this term. And so if such a person even deems himself fit to come back to Ghanaians, to come and tell us that we should vote for him, he deserves to be in the public space. And I am telling him that, Papa, you didn't start the free SHS. You were lying if you said you started it because you didn't.
All right, fair enough.
It's as simple as that. He is not supposed to be in the public space.
Let's make progress. We